Before ChatGPT was a household name, before everyone was an AI expert, there were a hands of people in the labs building the world's first cognitive engines. Today's guest is one of them, Joy Mustafi. Mr. Joy Mustafi has over 100 patents to his name. He has been a principal scientist at IBM, Microsoft, and Salesforce. He didn't just join the AI revolution, he helped in codifying it. Joy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Kuldeep, for inviting. Yeah, definitely. The AI evolution, right? I have seen from early 2000 when I started my AI journey as a researcher at Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. And I wrote my first
Mhm.
neural network program in C programming language, because that time the modern packages and all these open source tools, those are not there. So everything from scratch and understanding the mathematics, the statistics behind it, and I have seen that from the like rule-based AI, where we started with the propositional logic, and then the neural network came, and then we combined, right? We learned about the different machine learning algorithms, but also understanding the foundation of AI, right? And from there,
Mhm.
like I've seen the entire paradigm shift towards this generative AI, agentic AI, and so on, right? In the more than 2 decades, what I observed. And definitely the organizations like IBM, Microsoft, Salesforce, and as well as Master Research, like helped me to learn and implement continuously in this innovative journey of artificial intelligence.
Mhm. So, sir, 100 plus patents. Most engineers, even today, like struggle to get even one. Is innovation a talent you are born with, or there is some framework which you developed over time that help you in getting so many patents?
Yeah, so definitely from my childhood, I was very much passionate towards mathematics, and I still love math, right? And
Mhm.
innovation, I started like in my standard nine, right, when we actually came up with some ideas in the school exhibition projects and all. And then at graduation level, also I studied like computer programming, although it was not in my curricula. So I was a
Uh-huh.
undergrad in statistics, and then I started coding in some basic programming language and coming up with like statistical methods, how we can convert or write them the same logic in a computer. And that computer was a like totally the grayscale monitor without mouse, just keyboard and disk operating system. Right. So yeah, I mean, always I have the hunger for learning new, and that helps me for the innovation, because when I'm learning new things, then again, what is my contribution to the technology, right? I mean, how I can think something in a new way, the newer way. And so I filed my first patent when I was working with IBM, especially with IBM Watson. And from there, my innovation journey from this patenting started. And yes, now I have 100 plus, which is all related to AI ML only.
Mhm. Great, sir. And like, how do you spot a problem that was worth inventing a solution for? Any specific example, or maybe one example you would like to share?
Yeah, I always try to do research in the applied domain. I mean, in the applied research with respect to the practical implementation, right? So whether it is on healthcare, education, agriculture, retail, transportation, banking, right, which are very much close to the society, to the people, to the human. And for that, right, I mean, when I try to find like the gap where what is actually required and what the current products are having now, the features or the platforms what we
Mhm.
are having, and if we do this, then what would be the benefit? In that way, I always think like, okay, from the practical implementation perspective, and then take it forward from there. So that helps me always to fill the gap, and including the like I mean, how to bridge the gap between industry and academia, right? Because in academia we see like lot of fundamental research, the foundations and all these things are focused, and then deep research also we get that kind of opportunity. But in corporate world, we don't have that luxury to do research. I know few organizations have the research divisions, but again they are also under pressure, like on delivery, and then like what needs to be shipped in the next version of the product, right? But how to bridge the gap and within that timeline, it's very important. Like, it's not saying like we can't do it, rather always say like, okay, let us try, let us do the research, then the development, and let's do it, right, when we can do it. So that's the pure objective.
Mhm. No, you are absolutely correct, sir. And also, you have worked with IBM, Microsoft, and Salesforce. Any culture, or maybe like any specific innovation culture difference you found while working with these three major giants?
Yeah, definitely there are a lot of and cultural differences between the organizations, because yeah, I mean, every large organizations have their own strategy, their own culture, their own vision and mission as well, right? I mean, so IBM is more like what I found, old school type organization, having like a big structural org kind of thing. Microsoft has like more cool culture, right, with respect to the employment and everything, right? I mean, and Salesforce has, again, it's a cool culture, and but they are more focused on the business of the CRM and all, right? But Microsoft has like diverse, I mean, products, right? The
Portfolio.
product portfolio and all. So it depends on what the organization is focusing on, and innovation is required everywhere, right? Whether it is a large organization or small startup or even academic organizations. Now, even if you see, like, the government also asks the academic organizations to file patents, right? I mean, there are like the evaluation by NIRF, NAC, and all. So they are all asking the universities and colleges to file patents and have patent grants. And apart from the publication, which was common in the academic organizations, but now patents and innovations are also very important.
Agree. And I think you learn from the different culture, and that's why you have worked with these different giants, and I'm sure it has reflected in your research. One more thing which I find a very specific keyword is called must. And I know you have founded Must Research to promote the AI excellence in India. Could you share a story behind its name, and why did you came up with this idea when there are like multiple research organizations which are already promoting AI?
Yeah. Yeah. And so when I was in standard nine, actually, I thought like in 1993, I was planning to have like, okay, in when I will, like in my final career, I will be more towards like entrepreneurship and all. And then
Mhm.
my company name will be Must. It is actually the first four letters of Mustafi, which is my surname. But at the same time, it is very positive English word, right? We must do it. We must research. So from there it started, and but it took me almost a decade first, like, to think about what to do. Definitely at standard nine, I didn't start. So I completed my graduation, post graduation, and got my first job in Kolkata as a lecturer. And then I organized one meetup with some young researchers and young scientists in Kolkata, and then 7 members we started with. And not only AI, that time I was thinking about all kind of emerging technologies, including, say, molecular biology, and like, biophysics, electronics, robotics, and all these, right? I mean, some of the applied sciences. And then we worked together, and then we planned like, okay, let's meet like every fortnight or every month once to discuss those open research problems. But gradually, when I shifted from Kolkata to Bangalore, and then met like even I'm a cosmopolitan crowd, right? In Bangalore. So then we actually formed Must Research as a first legal entity and called it like Must Research Club, which is a non-profit organization registered under Society Act. And from 7 members, now we are having 750 plus members. And then gradually from the other subjects, it converged towards AI, machine learning, and even for other subjects, like even if it is psychology or like pharmaceutical healthcare, then also we are focusing on the AI for healthcare or AI for finance, AI for different domains. But the core technology or the horizontals, we are mostly focusing on artificial intelligence, especially dealing with the language and vision. To some extent, the IoT, robotics as well. We built some physical robots with human-machine interaction and all these features.
Mhm. No, that's very interesting one, and I think this society has spanned across. Now I see it is also active in different domains, in different, like, the colleges, etc., as well, and within the metropolitan city, which has really helped scaling, the AI knowledge, which was probably it is today, but not like 20 years back or something. So, sir, tell
Yeah.
me one more thing. You worked with IBM Watson, Salesforce, Einstein, two of the most significant AI platform in the history. Today, we have LLMs that can talk back to us. Looking back, what did those early systems get right that modern AI is still struggling with?
Yeah, I mean, during my IBM days or IBM Watson, we focused more on the knowledge graph, right? I mean, the knowledge representation. So that is very important. And while a particular domain or particular business specific knowledge, how we can ingest them and how we can retrieve them online, like based on the query, right? We used to call it query. Now it is mostly prompt. But the results what we are getting, sometimes if you have seen in the large language model, sometimes we go for like kind of hallucination and all. So, and not always correct. So I still believe the approach should be kind of an hybrid approach, not the traditional approach what we took like a decade back, and not the current approach like totally depending on large language models, because most of the startups, they are right now what they're doing, like creating a user interface wrapper or UI wrapper on top of LLM, right? So that won't suffice, because that helps in some of the examples are very at superficial level. Some use cases will be like very satisfactory result, but if you go deeper with serious business, then that model will not work. So that's why we have need like a neuro-symbolic AI kind of approach, right? Where it is the neural part is the this language model and all, and symbolic means the propositional logic, the classical rule-based AI. So rule means not simple if then else. Sometimes the policy, the governance, many things are there which are actually collectively called the symbolic AI, right? I mean, even IBM Deep Blue, which like defeated Gary Kasparov in I think 1997, 98 time. That was a
Mhm.
supercomputer. It can think faster than human being. That's why Deep Blue defeated Gary. But it was not like based on some machine learning based approach. It was mostly a graph traversal, because Deep Blue knows what are the probable states or moves, right, in chess. All the probable moves it stored. So now it is a graph traversal. So now to represent that knowledge, that's very important and interesting, right? So even that, this is a rule-based system, but it is faster than human being. So it's a supercomputer, which is AI, but not machine learning, because machine learning is a subset of AI, right? Artificial intelligence. So now non-ML AI can defeat human, right? And that is, I'm talking about late 90s. Now think about, like, I mean, there are a lot of
Mhm.
changes happened. So what I suggest, or in my opinion, kind of a hybrid approach. We call it like neuro-symbolic AI. Definitely the agentic AI is again another way of doing. So if it is neuro-symbolic agentic AI, that should be the future of technology.
Yeah. No, you are absolutely correct. And I think,
Mhm.
again, right, as we say, what is the use case which you are solving? That's important. And then the technique just
Yeah.
becomes, one of the method. For example, like a few years back, we saw every researcher was trying to solve even a tiny problem with the deep learning without even realizing whether that the
Yeah.
deep learning would be
Mm,
useful or not.
mm, mm.
Today, we see this with the LLM and the way the agentic AI is rising. I think everyone will try to solve that with the agentic AI method. But again, you need to know what is the problem you are solving and which tool can be most helpful in you rather than just trying one way to solve the problem.
Mm, mm.
So, sir, you have also done research in the visual cryptography and the security space. Could you share more about that?
Not much. Yeah, one of the products were on the on the cryptography and visual security. So that was mostly
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, how we can apply this computer vision, right, to understand several patterns which are actually from coming from different statements and all, and the authenticity checking and all these things. Yeah, but I
Mm-hmm.
mean, this entire this cryptography or the security, cyber security has a totally different domain altogether. It's not AI. We can definitely apply AI for cybersecurity. That will be AI for cybersecurity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think the way specifically, the generative AI is has already explored where you can't really difference whether it is a real human being or it is like, the made up human being. I think the security layer also needs to become so that we
Yes.
can confirm it is the 100% human or it is kind of the generative mechanism which the people have
Huh,
used.
huh,
So, sir, you have worked with across the researcher from different domain, specifically in India, but we
huh.
also see like hey, India is still being considered as an AI users. How we can move from being an AI user to the AI creator world?
No, definitely. We are not only AI users. I mean, there are a lot of contributions from India towards AI creation. Even in master research, we are doing like a lot of research which are very much India centric. And we are closely working with multiple state governments as well as government of India in multiple like government subsidiary organizations as well. Like, I mean, say Bureau of Indian Standard and all, we contributed towards defining AI
Uh-huh.
standards, right? And sometimes that goes to the ISO, and we are contributing from India, which is again getting recognized internationally, all right? Standard means like definitely what would be called what and so on, right? In the AI definition. And at the
Uh-huh.
same time, with respect to the language, speech technologies and all, India has a diverse culture and with respect to multiple of these, right? I mean, whether it is geography, whether it is language, religion, so many things are there. I mean, culture. So from that aspect also, once we start working on this natural language processing, speech technology, think about dialects, right? I mean, if you just consider, say, any one language, say Hindi, right? The Hindi varies from district to district. I would not say like state to state. Sometimes district or a locality. Same goes for Tamil, same goes for Bengali, right? Because it's not a constant or shuddh type, right? The pure form we don't speak. So the now for speech technology, think about like sometimes for human being it's quite difficult to understand that dialect. Now, if you are expecting that the AI system, so definitely we need to do like a lot of things, and we have to create a lot of things from India, right? And no one else from external I mean, nation will help us, right? So we are the creators. We are building many things now. There are a few language models are being built, and I mean, the academic organizations, especially like major IITs like IIT Kharagpur, Kanpur, Madras, IIT Hyderabad, right? Bombay. So they're all working in several years, right? I mean, almost now close to 30 years. We are working in these Indian language technologies, speech technologies, computer vision, which are focused for Indians, like Indian roads, right? I mean, I cannot imagine like an automated car or driverless car in a Bangalore traffic, right? Why? Because as human being,
Uh,
if we think like, okay, this much of congestion may happen, so then how can we imagine that automated car? But can we have an automated tractor in an agricultural field? Of course, yes, because there is no problem with the traffic or violation and all. So how? But we can actually implement those technologies, right? And think about a driverless or farmerless tractor to save that farmer in like I mean, hot summer or heavy rain and so on, and the tractor can go roam around and take the pictures and observe the other like geofencing and all and comes back, right? So there are a lot of things which are India specific healthcare, right? I mean, um, there are a lot of applications in the healthcare and pharma with respect to India context or Indian context. So yes, to
mhm.
come back to your question, right? We are not AI users only. We are in the journey of AI creation. But yeah, I think it started, and we need to work more. We need to work hard, really.
Yeah. And maybe we have already building it, and we need to share more such stories so that the world knows about them more. So, sir, I'll start with some quick questions, and it's more like a rapid fire round. So, let's say, what is the most underrated branch of math for data scientists? Tell.
Underrated branch of mathematics, right? Yeah, I think the linear algebra and all these, right? So calculus, those are very important. I mean, because
Yeah.
sometimes if the data scientists, they think like, okay, I will learn Python, and then I don't know the
Mhm.
mathematics foundation, so that's a problem. And statistics also, like I mean, the statistics is definitely applied math. So statistics, probability theory, and Bayes theorem, and all these. At the same time, the linear algebra, because we deal with the matrix and all, while suppose we are representing an image and all, right? So these are all, each pixel is forming like a rectangular matrix. So matrix algebra, linear algebra, these are very important. And the calculus, right? When we are working on optimization, gradient descent and all, so that is also very important. So we must like come from the math background. If you are not, then please let's read and understand maths and then apply.
And even like these new technologies do have those wrapper. People might have forget, hey, it is not a math, but towards the end, it is the
Yeah.
math, it is the probability, and it is all the distribution, etc., which is working.
Hmm.
Cool. So, sir, tell me one patent about you, one patent which you have got that you believe and has impacted the most lives so far.
Um, I won't go for number of lives and all, but yeah, the first patent which actually helped me or the organization was like the my first patent actually. I mean that was
Uh-huh.
with IBM, and I tried to solve like arithmetic query, which is mentioned in natural language, and then how to use natural language processing and knowledge representation and other concepts to solve that arithmetic problem. Because it is not always easy for a computer to understand that language. Even if it is 101 answer, it's fine. But the moment there is some calculation required, right, then it's not that easy. I mean, for an example, if I use the term, the boy is say dropping a ball versus the boy is throwing a ball. Now dropping is like initial velocity is zero, and only the
Uh-huh.
acceleration is gravitational acceleration is 9.8 meter per second square. While throwing, there is an initial velocity, there is an angle also. Definitely gravity is also there, but there is a projectile motion. So now for English, the English word drop and throw don't have any difference, right? It's just two
Uh-huh.
action verb. Okay. For natural language processing, also hardly matters whether the boy is dropping and boy is throwing the ball, right? So but with respect to physics or with respect to science, these two words having two different, significantly different meaning. Like I
Meaning.
mean, or say I'm saying like, Joy took 100 rupees from Kuldeep. Joy gave 100 rupees to Kuldeep, right? So that entire transaction, uh, took versus gave, is actually the like subtraction or addition, right? So if I say like Joy had 500 rupees in hand and he gave 100 rupees to Kuldeep, how much left with Joy? So now what my I mean innovation was there, like to understand this entire chain of thought and how these are connected, the noun versus pronoun, the action word, what is the meaning of that, and what kind of arithmetic transformation or transaction or operation is happening there, right? And then creating that knowledge graph and solving that problem. So that helped me to actually come with more advanced versions of that. And most interesting thing is now we are actually working on that as well, right? I mean, with the agentic AI, with the neuro-symbolic AI or the LLMs, right? It's still like under research on such kind of complex problems where it is not about what you know and you are just answering. LLM typically does it, right? I mean, if it is stored there, it can answer. but where it has to reason, actually it has to come up with like, then we need this neuro-symbolic agentic approach, right? It's not about only, getting the answer which is stored in the knowledge graph, but also reasoning or applying other intelligence form, right? And then interact with each other. So these things are learning more towards the same goes for mathematics for human, right? I mean, we usually say like, okay, you matlab ratta maar ke math nahi hoga, right? So even if I try to memorize 10 problems, but I cannot solve the 11th one if I don't understand like how I'm solving, right? So that's important.
Agree. And one more debate which is going on is about the general intelligence, which means the AI will be more becoming like a closer to a human level intelligence. Do you think it is achievable in the near future?
In few fields, again, it varies from application to application, right? Where human
Mm-hmm.
also has like limited knowledge, definitely AI can, right? I mean, because sometimes we also go like by the book. If we are following just 10 rules, 100 rules in a bank or any other organization, right? Okay, I will not apply my intelligence beyond this because I have told this to do. Then I don't need that human being, right? I mean, I can always design a particular AI problem solution which would actually solve this problem. But if it is more creative, if it is more logical, if it is more learning way, right, continuous improving and all. So definitely we are not still in at that point right now where AI can do better than human, even for creative things, right? If you have seen, like, I mean, suppose using the LLMs or VLMs right now, if we create some image, not always accurate. Few images you will be surprised. Wow, it's generating by. Then if you go in
Mm-hmm.
detail and minutely look, right, you can easily find like lot of errors. I mean, a leg in front
Yeah.
on the wrist instead of palm, or right, six fingers. So many things are there which are still, not resolved. So creativity is something which we are not looking at. We should not look at AI, right? But we can always use AI for help, right? I mean, just like we are using calculator. I mean, calculator is not
Mm.
replacing our brain, but at the same time, we can use AI for assistance, but not like give the entire task to AI and wait like what is the result. But yeah, bits and pieces to make it better. Suppose you have written a paragraph already, ask AI to change the grammar or rephrase it with respect to proper tone, like whether it is an official tone or personal tone or legal tone. So those things, AI is definitely giving better results, right? But if we completely depend on, like, especially large language model and all, and then throw something and wait, like, okay, it will solve my problem, then we are into the wrong direction.
Agree. No, and I think that's also like debatable in that sense. Like the human intelligence is also increasing day by day and year by year. So maybe by
Yeah.
the time it reaches to the level which we are today, by the time like the human will even advance more. Great, sir. So, Jay sir, I know like you are the master of both statistics as well as the coding. But like let's say you have to keep only one thing. Which one will you do?
See, these two are different, right? So, I mean, I use coding to represent statistics. That was my first objective, right? So, coding is a way of representation. I mean, I can write everything in English also, but why we are using Python, or when I started like C language, then Java and all, right? And now Python. So, that is like I mean, instead of writing everything in English, we are writing in a particular script. But the logic, right, the concept of statistics, mathematics should be the first priority, because language will change, right? If you think right now, even we are using this LLM and all, then the prompts are important, and prompts are written in English only, right? We don't write Python prompts. It's English prompt, and then the codes are being generated. So I would suggest, I mean, definitely the fundamentals are very, very important, especially mathematics, statistics, and all. At the same time, the domain knowledge also, right? I mean, if we are working with, say, healthcare or say agriculture, then we should know that subject very well before trying out AI, right? I mean, So the data scientist should not avoid learning the domain. So that is my second. But coding, yes. I mean, now even auto coding is with language model and all, but we have to always verify whether the logics what are being constructed there are perfectly working or not. Human validation is still very, very important.
Mhm.
Sure. And no, we are not going to take anything from you. You have got all those expertise over there. And as you said, right, because hey, coding is something which you just leverage to, build whatever work which you have built on top of statistics to represent and to showcase. So we have reached towards the end of the podcast. Any final thought you would like to share it with the audience?
Yeah, always, as I mentioned, like try to think something new. Don't repeat what's happening, and try to learn what you're applying. Right. So just using LLM or just using any of the, I'm not mentioning any product name here, but yes, any large language model or very sophisticated AI, just don't use it from the surface. Right. So go deeper, try to understand how they work, how they're built. Right. And try to build a small language model or a tiny language model if required, or a tiny AI system for a particular domain, which is helpful for the society, especially for our nation.
I agree. All right, sir. So it is nice speaking with you always, and you are a proof that the best way to predict the future is to invent it. Your work in this 20-year journey, as well as at the Must Research, is a blueprint for every aspiring scientist in India. So it's always an honor to talk with you.
Thank you.
All right. That's it for this episode of Techie Talks with Kuldeep. Until next time, keep learning and keep innovating. Thank you for
Thank
watching.
you. Thanks, everyone.